We're in Epcot now. We're about to keep things rolling. He's back. How was your dog? Hey, Pluto. Hey, Pluto. How are you? We got Mickey Mouse and Goofy over there. Guess who's over there? My huggable friend, Minnie! Who is also a great dancer.
Discovery and awareness of the richness, the diversity, and the often surprising nature of living with the land. Our journey begins as dramatic and sudden changes are sweeping over the land. The approaching storm may seem violent and destructive to us, but to nature, it's a new beginning in the cycle of life. The surface of the land, roots trap water from the flowing mud, extracting precious nutrients and minerals. These elements, when combined with sunlight, create the diverse living systems of our planet. One of those living systems is the rainforest, home to the most amazing concentration of life on our planet. These dense and beautiful forests cover only a tiny portion of the Earth's surface, but they contain more than half of its plant and animal species. Rainforests are also extremely rich and productive living systems, providing us with oxygen, food, medicines, and other elements essential to our lives. In the desert, nature has created a very different, but no less beautiful living system. And while this arid landscape may seem lifeless, it is very much alive. The plants and animals that have learned to survive in these harsh conditions make use of what little water they can find and avoid the scorching rays of the relentless sun. The American prairie once appeared as desolate as the desert, but over time, rainwater and nutrients gradually penetrated the hard surface of this land. Even the hooves of the mighty buffalo helped create the rich soil that would one day become home to the American farm.
You notice it's always the same dog. For the type of the same dog wherever you go. And in the carousel probably.
Of all the forces at work on the land, humans have had one of the most profound effects. The need to produce food for a growing world led to the enormous use and sometimes overuse of the land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food, we often fail to realize the impact of our methods. To live with the land, discovering better ways to grow food that will assure both human and environmental well-being.
In farmlands across America, we're learning that by plowing under vegetation containing natural fertilizers, we can enrich the soil without the use of chemicals. In Saudi Arabia and Mexico, we're learning to produce food on desert seacoasts by developing and planting crops that thrive on salt water. Here at Epcot, we're learning to reduce the need for pesticides by using natural predators like ladybugs and wasps to control pests. In Japan, we're learning that by adding composted leaves and other plant materials...
How will we meet tomorrow's growing needs for food production, yet still respect the needs of the land? Some of the answers are being discovered just ahead. To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems, and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times. Welcome to our living laboratories, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce bountiful harvests now and into the future. The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of these, like papaya, bananas, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat.
Last time we were here, they were making...
Food in the world. When we mention farming, you probably don't think of fish. But fish farming, or aquaculture, accounts for nearly half of all the seafood consumed globally. Tilapia, bass, and catfish, like the ones you see here, are three of the more popular crops raised by fish farmers. The sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year to serve in restaurants around Walt Disney World. Innovations like this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce bountiful harvests and still protect natural resources. While there are more than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us are only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of research around the world.
No, that's not hidden, honey. That's just out in the open.
These plants are definitely on their way up. Innovative growing techniques like these increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants here at the land every year.
Red peppers. I'm one of those.
The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
Good job. Good job. Jackie missed it. Yeah, what? On the board. On Texas. Yeah.
These greenhouses represent just a fraction of the work being done worldwide to produce bountiful harvests for our growing population. Scientists, farmers, and even backyard gardeners are doing their part to improve the quantity and quality of foods that we all rely upon. Together, we can continue to find more ways to increase food production and protect our precious natural environment. Only then will we truly be living with the land. On behalf of Walt Disney World, we hope you've enjoyed this unique journey through our living laboratories. If you'd like a closer look, then check out the Behind the Seeds walking tour. It's a chance for the whole family to get up close and personal with the plants and growing techniques in our laboratories. Please keep your hands and feet inside the boat and remain seated until the boat comes to a complete stop.
Onto the seas with Nemo.
jellyfish. Why are you trying to fight?
Find who?
Nemo! Where are you, Nemo?
Who's Nemo?
He's my son. You know that. We better make a fish jellyfish! Stop playing games!
Games? I love games. Ooh, I'm thinking of something pink, bouncy, that looks like a balloon.
Jellyfish!
Right. Okay, now I'm thinking of something pink.
Fish jellyfish!
Oh yeah, too fast for you.
Stop fooling around!
Can I get a little high over here? Light it up. It's echoey in here.
Hurry, do something!
Get off.
Why did you provide for a little bite? Oh, what a bite! Little clownfish, where are you? Swim over and say good day to your old devil.
Awesome! Grab chill, Nemo! It's the AC! But I've never been in the AC before!
Just put your fins out and go!
My favorite part.
Check out the Mini Marlin! Whoa! Okay, little dudes, get ready to rock!
It's Nemo! Look, Mr. Ray, here comes Nemo!
Oh, there you are, Nemo!
Yay! Nemo!
Come aboard, explorers!
It's Nemo! Look, Mr. Ray, here comes
All right, don't hurt yourself.
Big old blue!
Hot spot right here. There's a hot spot right.
Oh, look, here they come.
Right, there's a hot spot right out here where you can see Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. Right around the corner there. And then there's all the princess.
She said Mickey and Minnie. You're right around the corner.
Yeah,
we'll go.
Is there a line?
yes, it's like a 40-minute wait. So if you want to go put somebody in line,
Oh, no, we ain't doing that. I was just saying where I could see them.
You can wave at them from afar.
oh no, you can't see them.
Oh, you can't?
No, they're back behind.
They know what they're doing.
That's where you get your fast pass.
For your life, and as always, enjoy your flight.
Now here's Patrick Warburton.
Hello, and welcome to Soaring. My name is Patrick, and I'll be your chief flight attendant today. We'll begin boarding in a few minutes, but first I'd like to acquaint you with some important safety information. When the doors to your flight open, please take a seat and store all carry-on items in the under-seat compartment. This includes cameras, purses, hats, and of course, these little dudes. Next, fasten your seatbelts, inserting them into the buckle on your right. If smaller aviators don't measure up to the height indicator on the seat, just put the belt through the loop in the center strap before buckling.
Nice work, pal.
Nice work, pal. Soon you will be airborne. So if you or your little aviators have a fear of flying or of heights, you might want to wait for your party at the arrival gate. Okay, let's review. That is seat, seatbelt, carry-on item, safety strap, fear of heights, keep your hands and arms inside at all times. Yes. Yeah. Have a nice flight.
I can see him.
Across the east side of World Showcase Lagoon to Mexico. From there, we're going to turn right around here, right back here to Germany, where we just left. Continue the same morning journey for the rest of the afternoon. We have a sister ship operating over there on the west side of the lagoon as well. They stay over there and operate continuously back and forth between Canada and Morocco. We're both leaving the lagoon tonight at 7:30 with our final run back from Germany to Mexico and from Morocco to Canada, respectively. That's 7:30. The last two boats. We're also both free-floating vessels. There are no tracks to guide us and cables to pull us. Therefore, for your own safety, we ask you to not move around the cabin while the boat is in motion, especially while we're docking. Those of you standing, it'd be a good idea to continue to hold on to a pole, back of a seat or a rail throughout the entire voyage, again, especially while docking. And for the courtesy, comfort, convenience, and safety of those around you, there's no smoking while on board.
Look, that's China.
When we do get to Mexico, that's as close as the boat can get you to Future World and the front of the park. Future World, of course, has all the cool rides, Spaceship Earth, Test Track, Mission Space, Soaring, the Limit to Land, Universe of Energy, etc., etc. Beyond Spaceship Earth, you'll find the main entrance turnstiles. Through those, you'll find buses, taxis, shuttles, car parking lots, and the monorail station, where you can catch a monorail to the Magic Kingdom via the Transportation and Ticket Center. Magic Kingdom tonight for all guests is open until 1 a.m. If you'd like to use any of those transportation services I just mentioned, or head to the rides here in Future World. As you exit the dock, turn left, walk past the Duffy Meet and Greet, and then turn right, and you'll be headed directly towards Spaceship Earth, the front of the park, and Future World. As we approach the dock now in Mexico, please remain seated. If you're standing, hold on until the all clear has been given to go ashore. Thanks for sailing with us across the lagoon this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day here at Epcot.
Yeah, Mexico. Bad.